Today's First Alert afternoon weather update is brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.
Good Tuesday afternoon. First Alert Meteorologist Diane Phillips hanging out with you on another beautiful day. Hopefully you've been able to get outside and enjoy some of the sunshine that we've had, whether it be over the weekend or even yesterday. But just a reminder, you're still going to want to have that sunscreen. I know I've seen a couple of folks who maybe have thought, oh, I'm late in the season, I don't need it. You do still need the sunscreen, so make sure that you are prepared if you're going to be spending quite a bit of your day outdoors. We will be talking about your First Alert forecast, and what that includes is a drop in temperatures going into the middle of the week. We're also going to be looking at a weekend warm up with October starting tomorrow. You are going to find maybe a little bit of that pumpkin spice weather, but it really is going to be summer-like when we look into that long-term forecast. As we get started today, we are going to begin with that after-school time frame, just because we are only a couple of minutes for some school districts away from the bell ringing and getting out of school. We are going to find plenty of sunshine. Once again, if you have some after-school activities, no issues getting those in. It will be fairly warm at times. We're finding our temperatures currently, those are into the 70s, so a little bit cooler than yesterday. We actually saw some 80s, so we are going to find that we don't quite have all of those 80s in play for us today. Already our winds have been a little bit on the lighter side, just coming out of the northeast, and that has cooled us down. So we'll be talking about how that is really going to play with the numbers tomorrow. But you will see our thermometers are currently sitting into those 70s. We have 74 in West Branch, 77 in Gladwin, 72 for Saginaw at MBS Airport. Brown Airport is reading 75. We have 77 in Flint, and check out Elma, Owasso, and Lapeer. They're thinking I'm going to go for 80s this afternoon, and considering we do still have another 2 to 3 hours of peak heat, that means that we can easily reach those 80s. So we'll be watching very closely. Caro's at 77, same for Marlette. And the lakeshore communities, of course, a little bit cooler. We're at 66 in Port Sanilac, 67 in Harbor Beach, and 66 in Port Hope. Same can be said for Oscoda, and then 65 in Tawas. We do have 74, though, in Standish on the thermometer, while we have Caseville sitting into the upper 60s. Now, we will see that our lakeshore temperatures are really going to matter when we look at the forecast, because I am going to pull up the wind direction here. So already we've kind of been seeing our winds just lightly out of the northeast. Tomorrow, those wind speeds will pick up a little bit. Even tonight, you'll kind of notice that they pick up some. So when those winds do start to pump in some of that cooler air, that means then air temperatures are going to have to drop. So we will find that our gusts are not necessarily all that strong, getting up towards 20, maybe up to 25 miles per hour. That's going to be possible during the overnight, but even going into tomorrow, just a light breeze to be expected, not overly windy, but considering how calm and how still it has been lately, you will at least just notice a little bit of movement outside. But even as we go through the day on Wednesday, you will see at times we're just pulling straight easterly winds, and we still can have a little bit of that northeast direction. Either way, we are tapping our winds to come over Lake Huron, and that is why we are going to be seeing a cooler forecast. So you will see that the winds do try to shift a little bit going into Thursday, and that's when we start to rebound. So tomorrow is actually going to be our coolest day in the forecast, because when we look at water temperatures, our buoys are saying that we have 62 in the northern portion of Lake Huron, in the middle portion 65, and then in the southern end 66. So we are going to be bringing in that breeze. It's going to be coming in from a cooler source to begin with, and then it's going to be coming over those waters that are a little bit cooler as well. So of course right now our lakeshore communities, they're already experiencing 60s because of this phenomenon, but we will all be seeing this cooler drop in our temperatures compared to the upper 70s and even some 80s that we've been experiencing even the last couple of days. So this is going to be feeling just a little bit different for you. Still overall, it's a touch above average. Our normal high should be into the upper 60s, and we don't have upper 60s in the forecast as of yet. We are going to find that it's fairly warm. Now tomorrow, I do have highs that are going to be sitting right around 70 degrees. So I do anticipate some of us to be a little more seasonal, or at least getting close to those upper 60s. And we may stall out there. It really just depends on that wind direction. We will find that temperatures start to warm up. We have 73 by Thursday, so that's kind of our transition day as that wind direction starts to change. But then once we start to see that warmer air funnel back in, here we go. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have 80s coming back into play. So this will be our first weekend in October, and it's going to be feeling anything but fall outside. So be prepared that you may still want to go and find a cooler spot to chill out this weekend, because we have those 80s that are going to be in play. Another factor, though, that is going to influence temperatures tomorrow will be the cloud cover. You can see that we have the brighter conditions. Our line, we're still in the bright yellow. But as we go throughout the day on Wednesday, clouds start to move in. And even by Thursday, that's going to be kind of the cloudiest day. So the Wednesday's the cooler day, Thursday's the cloudiest. But thankfully, we rebound. Friday, we're back into the top of the scale here, sitting into the yellow. Still seeing those brighter yellow colors for Saturday. So it's a good looking forecast. We'll have the heat, we'll have the sunshine. But even when we have the cloud cover, I don't have a lot of rainfall in that forecast. But before we go into the hour-by-hour conditions, I do want to take a real quick break, get a little reset here, and then we'll be back in about 60 seconds with more on your First Alert forecast. Thanks for sticking with us. We are going to go right back into that forecast where there isn't a whole lot happening here for today. So if you do have some plans to be outside, no issues weather-wise. Just enjoy the sunshine. Don't forget your sunglasses, though, while you're out there. As we advance forward here in the hour by hour, you'll see maybe just a handful of clouds outside at times. But overall, we're not going to be seeing all that much cloud cover, so blue conditions are going to be overhead. We will see overnight that we still don't have the cloud cover, so that's why temperatures are still going to be dropping back into the 40s for some, just holding on to the 50s for others. But we will see going into that Wednesday forecast that we have the cloud cover setting up towards our west. So for the morning commute, eastbound drivers, you're going to want to have those sunglasses packed. And I would still keep the sunglasses for even the westbound drivers, but it may not be nearly as bright, because as we go throughout the day, you can see that the cloud cover does move in. Here we are at 5 o'clock. We still have some decent sun into the thumb, trying to hold on to it in Genesee County, but you'll see that those clouds are going to continue to move westward. And with those coming in, I've seen a lot of them to be higher level clouds, cirrus clouds. So those are a little bit thinner. They still allow for quite a bit of sunshine. So that's why I still want you to have at least that sun gear on standby, because I really don't see some thicker clouds coming in until a little bit later into the evening. That's when we'll kind of get some mid-level clouds, so they kind of block out some of that sunshine a little bit better. But even going into Thursday morning, you can see that we do still have the cloudy skies. So partly sunny conditions is kind of what I'm expecting for Thursday, with a few more clouds rather than sun, but it may be close to about 60% cloud cover as we go into that Thursday time frame. So overall, though, still not talking much as far as rain in the forecast. If you do need to maybe clean up some leaves, or even if you just want to cut the grass and mulch them up, you are going to find that you still have the green mower here for the next 5 days. So whether you need to cut the grass at night before you put up those Halloween displays, or if you're just needing to cut the grass, well, if it doesn't rain, it might be hard to get that grass growing, but we are going to still find that it is nice for any of those to-do lists and tasks that you need to get done, because you may find that you still need to maybe mulch up those leaves, a little bit of natural fertilizer to get that grass all greened up for the season. Speaking of leaves, I do want to bring up our latest fall foliage map, because we have been seeing some decent color. Got to pull that in. So much of the lower peninsula now, yep, we are seeing that low color. I know I've been seeing it across mid-Michigan now for a couple of weeks, and we are still seeing closer towards the Detroit area, kind of little to none at that point. So it's just a handful of trees there, just even coming into southeast Michigan. But most people at this point at least have a tree in the backyard that's probably starting to turn. We are still looking for a lot of us at a little more green rather than these colors, but you can definitely run into some spots where you do pick up on more of the oranges, the reds, and the yellows. Into the UP, some pretty good color here. I know some folks do like to travel for weekends to kind of get a good look at all those bright colors. May not be as vivid this season because of the drier weather that we've had. And also with it being so dry, I would take this weekend, if you have the chance and you're looking to do a little bit of leaf peeping, that you head to those destinations, because I'm worried with it being so dry that those leaves are not going to hold on very long, and you'll just have to look at them while we're cleaning them up on the ground. So we are finding that we have moderate color across all of the UP, but the western UP, we are looking at fairly high color right now. So we're not quite to peak, but we're going to be pretty close. Even some pockets you can see are pretty close. I know that there's Sugarloaf Mountain there around Marquette. They have a really good viewpoint from there. So if you go and climb up there, there's some steps. There's a little bit of rugged trail to keep in mind, but it's definitely manageable to get up there, and you can get a pretty good view. So this might be the weekend to head to Marquette to get a little bit of that fall color going. I know it seems pretty early, but into the UP early October, that's really kind of the time frame for us to see some color. If you are going to stay home and maybe you need to put up the Halloween lights, tomorrow is going to be October 1st, so we can get the pumpkins out. Maybe you already have the pumpkins out, but whether you're putting the spider webs or even the blow-ups are always fun to see. But even in the last couple of years, it really seems like the Halloween lights have really taken off to get a little bit of that decoration and spirit going in the neighborhood. So if you are going to be putting up those Halloween lights here, you have the, yes, go ahead, do it. You have great weather to get out there and get everything hung up, get those lights shining bright. So it's a great forecast here for the rest of this week and into the weekend. So that's why I just have the green bulb kind of screwed in there so that you can go and you can get everything plugged in and shining brightly. Of course, if you have some great photos, you can share them on the First Alert weather app. You'll find that QR code right here on your screen. If you don't have it already, you can also head to WNEM.com. I believe there's a Happy Halloween tab or just even a Halloween tab that you can submit some of your lights photos there. So looking for a little bit of fun, if you're maybe still needing to put those lights up, you have plenty of days here that you're going to enjoy getting the yard all set up. And when we take a look at the 7-day forecast, we do have our temperatures that are a little bit cooler. So maybe tomorrow's the day, right on the 1st, to get the decorations out. So it'll be a little bit more refreshing. You might even be able to put a hoodie on, depending how hard you're going to be working to get those decorations up. But we will be finding, if you're waiting till this weekend, it is going to be shorts and t-shirts to get the setups and the displays going, because it's going to be warm with 80s coming back in. So it's really tomorrow's the coolest day. Going into Thursday, we're going to try to work on bringing that sunshine back with those decreasing clouds. And then into Friday, we're back to that full sunshine that we've had here the last couple of days. Saturday and Sunday are still nice and dry. If you have some football games that you're going to be going to, you're going to see that it is a beautiful weekend for that. Again, shorts and t-shirts are what you're going to want to wear. And as we go into Monday, this is kind of the first hint that we have at a chance of rain. Now, it does look to be coming across the cold front, so that may drop us back a little bit on the temperatures. We'll be watching those trends. We'll have an updated 7-day coming up on the TV5 News at 4 p.m. But you are going to find that 80 degrees may not hold, but at least we have some rainfall chances. It's pretty isolated. We'll be watching to see how much we get, and even if it can hold together, because basically it's a line of rain. It sets up kind of late afternoon, early evening. And again, the timing may change. It's pretty far out in the forecast for our weather data these days. So just keep in mind, if you are looking for at least some natural rain, if the grass is kind of getting a little crispy in the yard, Mother Nature is not going to be taking care of the water component of the forecast until at earliest the second half of Monday of next week. So again, if you need some water, it's going to be a while. I know it is fairly dry out there, but if it is going to be dry, hopefully you can take advantage, get outside, get a little bit of fresh air, and find a little bit of fun here in mid-Michigan. That's all we have, though, in our First Alert forecast, as it has been fairly quiet. We will be back here tomorrow at 2 p.m. with the latest. Also, we'll be keeping an eye on the hurricanes. I can actually give you a quick update here. We have Umberto and Imelda. That has just been upgraded from a tropical storm to a hurricane. So we have both of those hurricanes. Neither look to be making landfall in the United States, but we still will find that some of our coastal communities could be seeing some impacts from those storms. But overall, here in mid-Michigan, the hurricanes not really going to have a lot of play with the First Alert forecast for us. The cloud cover tomorrow is actually going to be coming in from the west, so it's not going to be anything that's thrown in our direction from those tropical cyclones. But I thank you so much for joining me here this afternoon. We are going to have a look at tomorrow's forecast at 2 o'clock, so you can join us here at the First Alert desk. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you for joining us. Today's stream has been brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.